Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing Weekly Work Session with Get Oiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by Colin. Hey, Colin.
How you doing, everyone?
Hope you guys can head over into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. Say hello. We are excited to have you here today. If you are someone who is interested in getting ahead of the busy season, as if the summer wasn't busy enough. I mean, I feel like mine just flew by, and I haven't had a chance to like pop my head up and take a breath. But yeah, let us know how things are going for you. Um, Summer is almost behind us now, or at least where our planning systems are concerned. And today we're going to be talking about how you can get ahead on your fall content and maybe even get all of yours done in an afternoon. Right. So we're going to get into all of that here today. I hope you're excited to learn about that. I've got a checklist for you, and I'll be walking you through some examples and things that we can follow on today's call. If you are on our list, you should have a little download that we provided to you that was emailed out. We'll also include that in the description below this video on YouTube. So again, great to have you here. It's a free call that we offer every single week at noon US Eastern time, and it's a holiday. And of course, this is for anyone who is a Young Living brand partner who's looking to work smarter and maybe do that using Get Oiling. So we're going to pop out a video and get into some content that I've prepared for you guys here today. And yeah, let's get into this. Again, really excited to get into this. I'm such a huge proponent of planning ahead where it comes to the things that your business needs, but maybe you don't love doing, right? The stuff that isn't, I think the best way to maybe put this is the majority of us tend to walk through our lives, not just in our businesses, focusing on the things that are throwing themselves in our face, right? We are in reactive cycles a lot of the time. And the fact is one of the reactions that you may be experiencing from time to time is that maybe you don't have enough people in your circle who are ready to hear about oils yet, right? That's a need. I need to talk to people about Young Living if I want my business to grow, right? So I need leads, and I need people to pay attention to what I say when I show up, so that they say yes when I offer a class or when I do invite them to come and take a look at what I have to share. These are needs that your business has, and the way to react to those needs is to plan in advance so that you have content. Right? Content being the legs that your brand stands on, you showing up in the places where you need to so that people find you and say yes when you invite. All right, so let's get into this today. We're talking about fall themes for our content planning workshop. So today we're going to learn how to use a seasonal content strategy to stay consistent and stay connected, and how to batch your fall content using a simple two-phase workflow. Now, if you're new to all of this, don't worry. We walk through this in itty bitty baby steps. If we have some time today, I can even get into some of the more advanced strategies that I use personally when planning and batching our content ahead of time. We'll talk about how you can create your blog posts, your emails, your events, and your social posts in one focused sprint so that you can just show up day to day in your business, responding to people who say yes. Right? Because that's really what we need. We need a lot more opportunity to share. And with content, we are creating that. And we're doing that for our business in a compounding way. And then, of course, as always, we'll get into some life help and Q&A here today. If you have questions as we're going through today's content, feel free to ask away here live on Zoom. If you'd like to work on something together, the floor is open to you. We'll dedicate the second half of our call to this purpose. And unless, if no one asks any questions to that end, we could certainly get into some more advanced strategies. If you'd like to join us on a call like this, again, we're live every Thursday at noon US Eastern time. You can go to getoiling.com/weekly work session and be the first to be notified and to get resources like the awesome checklist that we put together for you today. Now, if you would like help on a live call like this one, you can go to getoiling.com/website review and reserve space in the second half of an upcoming Thursday call. We can work on your website. We could get you started with Get Oiling. We could just help you refine your strategy, whatever that looks like. It's totally free to you. Be sure to take advantage of this. And then finally, if you'd like to hand off your projects to someone else to do them for you, we've got you covered there as well. You'll get to know our team over at getoiling.com/concierge, and you can request a quote for your project. All right, so I want to show you a picture of this big picture, right? Because this is what content ultimately does for you. The goal of everything that we're doing here is to turn attention into curiosity, turn curiosity into interest, and interest into RSVPs or one-on-one calls with leads who see you as someone who can help them achieve their goals. Okay, so the end game, we want customers. In order to have customers who stick around for life, we need a relationship. That means they're going to start this with a one-on-one consult, and we need people to discover that we offer a consult. So we have all of these many ways to point people in that direction, to funnel them toward the opportunities to engage with us and what we have to say. So at minimum, what you'll see here, and this represents a month's worth of content. You would repeat this every month. You have one live event. You promote that live event on social media and to your email list. You release a blog post once a week that is dedicated to topics that leads are interested in. You promote that post on social and you promote it to your list. These events, these blog posts, they all point to this opportunity for a consult or a live event, right? And everything feeds into each other, right? You see this big picture here and how this works. We release a blog post, we email about it, we post on social about it. We host an event, we email about it, we post on social about it, and we stay on social, of course, posting so that we can get engagement. Now, if you have been doing some amount of these things and it hasn't been working for you, we can get into that here today as well. Perhaps you're someone who isn't fully convinced that social media is something that you ought to be using. And maybe that's because you haven't had the best experience with it. Totally understandable. And we can get into that. What it all boils down to is making sure that you have a unified strategy. Just showing up and posting because you believe you're supposed to is not a strategy. It's throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? And I don't want you wasting spaghetti here today. So the first thing that we need to cover, and this is really important when we start thinking about what we're posting, what we're going to be talking about, our blog posts, our emails, our events, all of this. The first thing that we need to remember at the top is that this content that we're creating is absolutely not about product education. Product education is what we do with customers once we win them over. Your content, what we're talking about here today, is the stuff that your personal brand stands on, such that people become interested in you and what you have to say and trust you so that you can share Young Living with them. This is about your leads. This is the front end of your business, not the back end, right? So what this is about is connecting to what your audience cares about right now so that you can start real conversations that build trust and of course, bring people closer to learning about Young Living. So this means that instead of posting about Ningxia Nitro, you're talking about focus and morning routines. It means you're talking about immune support and back to school prep and not just talking about thieves. This also means that you're talking about cozy routines going into the fall and not just about oils and diffusers, right? So look, I think that this is an important caveat. While I am saying this is not about product education, I wouldn't go so far as to say that mentioning a product ever is prohibited. It's just important that you aren't leading with product, right? How many of us would go out and watch a movie if our friend just told us the plot and the end to the movie, right? We probably wouldn't go spend that money. We would wait for it to, get to streaming so that we could watch it at home and not spend that money, right? If people can sniff out that your entire goal of communicating with them is to put some products in front of them, they're not going to be open to whatever it is that you have to say, even if what you have to say is totally valid and important and relevant and something that they need to hear, right? So we don't want to put product mentions and Young Living mentions out there very often. And another piece here too, and this is very important, if you're mentioning Young Living products and Young Living, the company, all over your socials and all over your website, you also are kind of cutting yourself off from the potential to speak more freely about wellness topics. Because if ultimately your sharing of Young Living happens in a kitchen table conversation on a one-on-one basis, you out front can talk about and be the expert in whatever you choose, right? Because the compliance issue ultimately boils down to not placing Young Living alongside health claims. So if you're not talking about Young Living publicly and publishing about Young Living publicly, you get to talk about whatever you want to, right? All right. So products can come up in context if you really want to talk about them in your lead facing content, but they should never, ever be the focus because that's not what your leads want to hear about. Your leads want to hear about topics that are important to them. So this approach is going to help you to grow a loyal, targeted following on social media, build an email list that loves to open and read your messages, create evergreen content that works while you rest, and to help you start deeper conversations with serious leads and ultimately attract customers who stick with you and eventually start sharing too. All right. So we're going to break this content system down into two simple phases. And we are going to follow this checklist that we have created for you to complete these steps. So before I get into the next steps here, let me actually come over here and show you this checklist that I am referring to. This is Plan, Publish, Grow, and this is for the fall. Now here, our phase one is about planning, strategizing, and organizing our ideas. And the second phase is about executing and get oiling. All right. So the very first thing that we want to do is to actually plan. We want to establish our strategy and organize these pieces of our strategy in Trello. Now, if you are unfamiliar yet about with Trello, I want to call your attention to this link right here where I say click here if you're just getting started or you'd like a refresher on how the systems work, and that's this content planning systems. This will take you to the blog post that you can visit where you can learn all about the swipe file that we've created and I'll be sharing with you today. You can learn how to use it and to follow the additional trainings that are in this series if you wish. All right. So definitely recommend that you check that out if you haven't done so yet. And it is linked right here in the beginning of the document. Okay. So the very first thing that we want to do is get over here and take a look at our Trello board after we, well, I'm going to show you the Trello board here real quick, just so we are all on the same page. This is the swipe file and content planner. It's got a bit more on it than it will when you claim it as the bundle, or sorry, the template resource that I give to you here. But this is it, right? So essentially what we're doing here is we are collecting ideas in different categories to address later. So for instance, I am coming up with ideas for social media posts, for emails, and for blog posts, and I'm just collecting them. I'm not acting on them right away. So maybe this is the one that I want to work on. I can actually drag it over here. Let me go ahead and pull this over just a little bit more to my content ideas that I want to start working on, right? So I'll be showing you how you would do this in batches here in just a bit. But the first thing that we want to do is to actually create cards on this board that correlate to the content that we'll create. So let's go back over here to our checklist and see what we need to do first. So what I am asking you to do here is to use your Write with AI and Get Oiling to brainstorm some monthly themes that connect to your audience's challenges, interests, or goals for this season. So I have some examples prepared, like back to school, back to you for September, fall into routine for October, and gratitude and grounding wellness for busy seasons in November. You can choose to go with these themes if you like them, or you could use this prompt that I've provided for you. So I'm actually going to grab this and copy it. And then we're going to come over to our dashboard here and Get Oiling. And I'm going to open up Write with AI and paste this, this prompt in here. Provide 3 monthly content themes for fall that help my audience stay well, get organized, or create calm at home without talking directly about products. Sure, Karen, I can post that. Here, let me grab this real quick. If you guys don't have it, I can put that right here. There you go, if you want to follow along with this. Okay, so let's come back over to our dashboard and see what it came up with. I've got mindful living in autumn. I've got seasonal cleaning and decluttering, cozy spaces for comfort. And these are great. And they aren't focusing on products. So this is just an example of one thing that you can do. And you can use this prompt that's provided here. So now that we've got our themes established, and I do want you to establish one for each month. Remember, we're doing this seasonally. September, October, November. We're doing this for the fall. Now, once we've decided on our themes, we're going to use our themes to plan a monthly live event, right? And so the easy news here is that for each of these, you've basically got the topic of your class or your event worked out. Now, this event that you're hosting, it can be in person, it can be virtual. It's totally up to you. It's really simple and straightforward to set this up in Get Oiling, which we'll be doing here in just a bit. So the first thing that we want to do is to generate one event idea per month with your fall themes. And then we are going to start adding these ideas to our Trello board. So I like what AI created. So I'm going to copy to clipboard here, and I'm going to come over here and say, I'm going to paste this information and delete. I'm just going to go the 1 through 3 that it provided for me. And then I'm going to go grab the prompt that I have provided for you here to suggest one live Zoom event and title and topic for each of the following fall content themes. And then I'll list the theme for each month and tell that each event should feel relevant and valuable to my audience and be something they'd want to attend live. So let me come back over here. I will add this to my prompt with those those 3 themes that it provided for me. There we go. And I'll hit write. And here we go. Mindful Living in Autumn is the theme for September. The event title is Embracing Autumn, a Journey into Mindful Living. And it gave us a topic as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this here. And I'm going to move over to my Trello board. Now, if you don't have an events list, right, I highly recommend actually adding an events list here so that if you have an idea for an event that you could host in the future, you've got that idea collected here, because that's what a swipe file is really all about. It's just collecting your ideas. So I'm going to go over here and click add another list, and I'm going to call this events. And I'm going to scoot this over here next to my primary content. So I'm going to pop it right here. And I'm going to go add my first card. So I'm going to add a card, and I'm going to paste that in. Oops. Here, let me actually just, event title. There we go. Embracing Autumn, a Journey into Mindful Living. There we go. And then I can add that additional information right here and save it. And then I'm just going to go back and repeat that for the other 3 events for the season, right? We're just going to keep this really simple. Here we go. Event title is Fall Refresh, your guide to seasonal cleaning and decluttering. I'll copy that. I will come right back over here to Trello. I'll create a new card in my events list, right? Oh, what did I do? That was strange. All right. And then I can come back over here and get the description. So you see where we're going with that? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So here we go. Here's our topic. I'll copy that. Come back over and paste. And one more, just so you can see, I want to make sure that I have all 3 of these in my cards. I'm just going to grab all of this so I don't have to go back and forth. One more card here. There we go. Creating your cozy fall haven. All right, and now I can come in here and paste this. And I have my events planned. I do need to go ahead and decide what the dates are going to be for this as well. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go and consult our checklist, right? So we need to add an events list, which we did. We have created a new card for each event. We have included the title and that month's theme, and we have assigned a date to the card reflecting when the event is scheduled. Let's go ahead and do that. So coming back over here, these are our events. I'm going to come over here and add some dates to these. So in September, I am going to maybe do this on the 24th. Excellent. I'm going to do this one in October. I'll do that one on the 22nd. And then in November, I will do this, maybe not the week of Thanksgiving. I'll do it the week before. There we go. Save and good to go. All right. So we've done that. And let's just go ahead and move these over here to our drafts in progress because we are working on these. These are no longer just ideas we're collecting. We should have these in our drafts in progress, right? Okay. So once we have those are here, they're good to go. We will be returning to those when we start working in Get Oiling. All right. So the next thing that we get to do is to come over here and plan our weekly blog posts per our topics for the month for the theme. So you're going to use Write with AI to generate your working titles and topic ideas for one blog post per week that align with your theme. And we're going to add one card per week based on your publishing day to the long form content list on your Trello board. And we're going to add all that information there. So I have some examples here, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the prompt here that I'm going to be using. But first, let me actually return to the Write with AI and Get Oiling here and see my prior responses so that I can grab my themes that I was using. All right, so I'm going to come back over here to Write with AI. And I'm going to paste the 3 themes, and I'm actually going to just focus on one at a time. So mindful living in autumn is where I'm going to begin with my focus here. And I'm going to delete the rest because I'm going to ask it to come up with 4 depending on the day of the week you publish, right? I'm going to ask it to come up with a certain number of posts for each of the days of the month that we publish. So for instance, if you are someone who plans to publish your content on Mondays, this would be an example of your schedule, right? So these are Mondays, the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, the 27th of October, right? So this is where we would start. And so what we would do here is we would, because we know that this is 4 Mondays, sometimes a month will have 5 Mondays though. So you do want to make sure that you are preparing for the actual month that you're publishing in. So double check the day of the week that you plan to publish, and then of course include the number 4 or number 5 in your request. So I'm going to paste this here where oh, no, I did not copy that. All right. I will be releasing a blog post every Monday in October of 2025 is what I'm going to ask. Provide a weekly blog post ideas following the theme that educates, informs, or inspires my audience without talking about specific Young Living products. Let me come back over here, paste that in, and I'm going to specify here that's every Monday in October of 2025. And here we'll say the following theme. There we go. And I'll click Write. And now it's going to give me blog post titles and it'll give me some ideas. And then we're just going to go and pop those over into our Trello board. There we go. Excellent. So there's our week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this one here, Embracing Autumn's Calm, the Power of Gratitude, Journaling. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come back over to my Trello board and look for my long form content, which is where our blog posts live. And here I already have some templates that are ready to use. So I'm going to grab that long form content template and I'm going to paste this in. And I did not get the whole thing. Bear with me just a moment. Let me grab everything that I need here. Embracing Autumn's Calm. Okay, copy. And you're going to repeat this 4 times. All right. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is where I need to actually copy this. And let's move it down to here. There we go. So we've got our title, our working title, and we've got more or less a description of what this is going to be. So you're going to repeat this for each one of the blog posts. And what you're going to do is you're going to drag them right over here to either your drafts in progress or your content ideas to separate them from the rest. Let's go ahead and add a date because I am going to be publishing these in October. That'll be going out on the 6th. And then I can repeat from there. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just create all of these in the the long form content template. And I'm going to, without going back and forth here on screen, I'm just going to go and grab and paste so that we could get this done just a little bit more expediently. So this is the week 2 that Write with AI provided for me. I'm going to add that description that it gave me, and I'm going to add the date of the 13th. And click save. There we go. And I can continue again doing this for the rest. And this is what you'll do as well, right? So we've created one event. Now we are creating one blog post per week. And I need to actually archive this and create one from the template. There we go. So you see how this works? It's actually quite simple. This is just the planning stage. We're not publishing anything yet. We're not creating anything new. We're planning. We're gathering ideas. We're establishing what we're going to do. And I highly recommend if you're going to be following this system, go ahead and do this for all 3 of the months so that everything is prepped ahead of time. The easiest time to write a blog post is right after you wrote a blog post, right? The easiest time to come up with what to say in a social media post is right after you came up with something in a social media post, right? Okay, so let's go back to the next step in our checklist here and continue moving forward. So from here, we need to plan weekly emails. Here, we're going to send an email out each week to engage and nurture our list and to promote that week's blog post and your next live event. So we're going to use Write with AI to generate an outline and a working subject line for an email that's based on that week's blog post and your next live event. And then we're going to repeat that for each week, right? This is all, again, very simple. So I am going to, let me see. Here's my example prompt. I'm going to copy this and head back over to Write with AI in Get Oiling. There we go. We're going to edit this. I'm planning weekly emails for the month of October 2025 to be sent each Monday. Each email will promote that week's blog post and also reference the next upcoming event based on the dates below. Blog titles, blog events, the dates, descriptions. So basically what we're going to do here is we are going to go over to our Trello board and we are going to tell it, here's what I'm writing. So this is the first week is Embracing Autumn's Calm, right? So this is the blog post. Which I will list here. And I can continue doing that for each of them, right? So grounding practices, mindful walking through the leaves. Autumn meditations was the next one. And then the final blog post was about forest bathing, tuning into nature's symphony. I am really looking forward to the fall. I wonder if you guys are as well. All right, so continuing with the prompt, those are the blog titles. We've listed those. And then the event titles, dates, and descriptions. The events that we will be hosting in the upcoming season, we have already on our Trello board. I'm going to look at that. Again, I'm not going to be popping back and forth here because I want to be able to get through this fairly quickly for you guys. But I'm going to just copy these and put the dates in. So this one is going to be for October 22nd. And I will pop my description in there. There you go. All right, so here we go. So just a curiosity-driven subject line and a brief content outline for each email, making sure the event promotion matches the timeline. So I'm going to ask it to write. And then I'll be able to come right back over. And I know I'm going through this pretty quickly, but this spells it out super clear for you. And I want you to be able to see what the actions look like. You don't necessarily have to fully understand the actions as I'm performing them, but it will feel more familiar to you when you go and you use this checklist for your subsequent steps. Because we're almost through the planning phase. And again, you could repeat this for every stage or every month rather of the season. Here we go. So our first email, here's our content outline, blog post promotion, event teaser, call to action. And it's doing that for each one of these. So we've got an outline for each of our emails. I love it. I'm going to come over here and copy. And again, go right back over here to our Trello board where we can start creating these cards for us to begin working on. So I'll come over here to email ideas and I'll use a template from here. I'm just going to type in week 1 for now because I have a ton that I just copied that I need to pop into here, right? So here's our subject line. And I'm going to swap that out and I'm going to give it the date and I'm going to save it. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and move that over here to my content ideas. And then I'm just going to keep repeating. So what is my next one? It's again an email. And I'm going to copy that from what Write with AI gave me and just paste it right into the card. Again, you're just following the prompts that I have given you. And you're just capturing this information that you can come back in here and work with later, right? So let me give that the date. There's the 13th. Save. And let's update this with the subject line. I'll move that over because I know I'm going to be working on that next. And then I'll repeat for the remainder of the emails. Now, because I want to be able to get into the actual demonstration of setting this stuff up and get oiling, I'm not going to do the rest of the emails, but you see what we're doing here, right? This is really simple if you follow the steps, and the prompts are already engineered to give you the results that you're looking for at each stage. Now, the final step here for planning is to plan out what it looks like for you to show up on social media once a day at minimum, right? So we're going to use Write with AI to generate a set of weekly post ideas that align with your content schedule, right? We're going to repeat this process for each week of the month that you're planning. So that's a couple of posts, 1 to 2 that promote the blog post for the week, 1 to 2 that promote the event that you have coming up, whether that's this month's or next, depending on the week that you're in. And then a couple maybe promoting your lead magnet if you want, like if you're using the weekly wellness tips funnel, or if you have some other funnel that you promote. And then, of course, you want to be showing up with engagement-driven posts that are not really asking them to do anything except engage with you. And so you'll add 1 card per post to the social media post list on your Trello board and assign dates to each of the cards, right? So, for example, on Tuesday, the 7th, maybe we are posting about our lead magnet, and we're going to highlight how Tuesday's weekly wellness tips support staying well through seasonal changes and invite followers to sign up if they haven't already. So I'm going to go ahead and just pretend that I have already asked Write with AI to create this for me, but I do have an entire example prompt for you. And essentially what you're doing is telling AI that you're planning social posts for the week of, right, and tell it the calendar week, and that you're assigning dates and post types right now. This is for planning only. Don't write the content yet, but use the post types below without substitution. So here's my blog, the title, the event title and description, what's the lead magnet you have, and then what is the theme that you have for the month. And then you just want it to suggest some posts for you. And it even gives some examples of the types of posts that you could use. So this is a prompt that you can come up with, but I'm going to show you how you can populate this information into your Trello board. So let me come right back over here. We do have a social media posts idea collection here. So let me go ahead and add a card and use the template, right? And this is going to be lead magnet promo for now, because again, I have a much larger thing that I need to paste. So I'll open this up. I'll paste what I've got here. And this is weekly wellness tip funnel for fall, and I'm going to post this on social media maybe on that Tuesday. Let me save this. And again, because this is something that we're going to be working on soon, I'm going to pop it over here into my content ideas. See, this is your working about to-do list, right? This is what you're actively working on. And this reason why I put these here is because it's what we're going to do next. But anything that's just an idea that you're not ready to act on yet, they just get stored here. So yes, Mandy, Trello holds the plan and strategy, what to say, when you're saying it, where you're saying it. Canva holds the visual assets while you're creating them. Once those assets are created, Mandy, you're going to want to attach them to these cards, especially if it's a post that you plan to make. So using post aggregators, including Canva's post scheduler, is an okay thing to do, but it's not optimal for engagement on the platforms. The platforms really are biased toward you showing up live. So my recommendation is to actually capture everything in your Trello board and then just pull it out of here to go post when you're ready. All right. Let me see. Allison says, would you put a date in the title for those emails so it's easy to see what emails are for what week, or would you put it somewhere else inside the card? So I wouldn't put the dates in the title unless you just really want to, because the cards have the ability to actually hold those titles, or sorry, those dates, right? So you can actually apply dates on the cards and you'll actually see when they're coming up. You can schedule in Canva and in Facebook, like you can, yes. But generally speaking, as somebody who is a personal account user, which I believe everybody here should be for the purposes of growing and living, the algorithms favor people who are showing up and interacting live. So you will get better reach and you'll get better response if you are live posting. If the only way for you to be able to show up and post daily is to schedule all or some of the time, then by all means, it's more important that you do it than you don't, right? That you post. It's more important that you post it all. And so if your only option is to schedule, then schedule. Just know that you do get a slight edge if you're showing up live. Then that's totally up to you. All right, great question. Let me see. I have to post 5 times a day and do a live in the vendor groups I'm a part of. Woo! That's a lot of posting. Yeah, if you want to schedule some of that, hey, I don't judge. By all means. Again, like being on social media, I find it exhausting. I don't personally do it. I'm not actively growing a brand partner business though, right? You want to make sure that you're out here and your people are seeing you. And so long as you have the opportunity to be seen, it's better than not doing it at all. All right, so let's talk about how we get this done. This is all pretty simple and straightforward. We're going to start with our events. We're going to create our Zoom link and our event descriptions. And so we've already moved our event cards into drafts in progress. We're going to create a Zoom recurring link in Get Oiling and use that for our events. And then we'll use Write with AI to actually write out our event descriptions, which I think are mostly done anyway. So our events right here, if you recall, Embracing Autumn, a journey into mindful living, fall refresh, right? So we see here are our events. And what we already captured has the topic here. I think that this is pretty good copy and I'm going to keep it. So what I'm going to do is just go over and set this up in Get Oiling, and I walk you through the full process of creating the automated reminders and all of that. It's all here. But just to show you really quickly, I'm going to come over here to Zoom. And if you don't have a recurring event set up already for your monthly calls, then you could absolutely just do that right now. I'm going to click schedule meeting and I'm going to make this recurring, and this is going to be a monthly class. I am going to mute participants on entry just in case somebody has a loud background and they come in late. You can choose to start video for everyone. I like to leave it off and give people a choice. You can use a waiting room or not. All of this is personal preference. So click create meeting. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link, and I'm going to add it to the card on my Trello board. So here's this one, and I'm going to come down here and paste that Zoom link so that I know that it's there. Let me edit this here real quick so that I can actually grab the link more easily. There we go. Okay, so that's got the link. That one's good to go. I would repeat that for the others. And then it is time to go into Get Oiling, use Write with AI, and to set up our event. So let's go over into our events here. We'll create a new event. Here we go. And I'm going to grab all of this from my card in Trello, Embracing Autumn, a journey into mindful living. There we go. I've got, again, I'm actually quite satisfied with the copy that it provided to me. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to paste that here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Zoom link that I pasted with it. And that is something I'm going to be using in a subsequent step. So I'm going to go ahead and give this the time. I do know that the date is already on the card. That's going to be in September. It is on the 24th. I'm going to do that at 7 p.m. and that will go until 8 p.m. Perfect. I am going to I'm going to stay on the events page here. The campaign, I'm actually going to go create and come back to this. So I'm going to go ahead and click add, and I'll come back and edit this in just a moment. But let's look at this here real quick. We can use our prompt here to put this together, right? And what we're doing here is we're going to write a short, clear event description. We've already done that one actually. And then we need to create the campaign, right? So what we did, we've gotten through this part. Sorry. All right, we now need a campaign. This is going to remind them to actually go and join the call. So what I want to do is to prompt it to write 3 short emails for my event. So let me come over here and copy this prompt. Let's go back over to Get Oiling. I'm going to go to campaigns. I'm going to create a new one. And again, you're going to be able to follow the instructions a bit more slowly than I'm demonstrating here today. This is going to be Embracing Autumn. And I'm going to do email preferred because that's what I like. And here we go. I'm going to add message to campaign. I'm going to open up my Write with AI and I'm going to paste this in here. And my event title, I'm going to copy in. Again, everything here is ready for you. All you have to do is paste this stuff in, right? So there's the title. Here's the description. And the date is September 24th at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time, right? And I'm going to let it write for me, and then I can go ahead and get this finished, right? So I'm going to be able to get all of the emails done here. And then basically you're going to use these to create your campaign. So again, I'm just going to copy all of this to clipboard to make my life easy. I'm going to paste it all right here. And I'm going to go in and just move this stuff around, right? Again, because I'm just going to make my life easy. I'm just going to just drop it in, copy and paste, right? And then delete what you don't need. So here we go. I'll copy the rest of this, call it a day here, save this and move on to the next one and build out that campaign. Okay. So this is how, that's how you get the campaign started. You're going to use the rest of the copy that it gave you to build it out. Just go right back over here to your event for that month. And let's add that campaign to this. Here it is. We'll go edit and we'll find that campaign. There it is. And we'll save it. Repeat this for all 3. Make sure, of course, that you have your campaigns fully created and you have events that you can start promoting toward. You do want to copy the link to this because we will be promoting this heavily. When we go put this right back over here into our, here we go, drafts in progress. I'm going to paste because I have created my event. I'm going to put my event URL right up here so I can grab it easily. And save it. And this is now scheduled and published. I can move that over. Repeat for the rest of your events. And again, you'll be going back and grabbing that link to put into your social posts and into your emails. All right. Now, the next thing that we want to do here is to create our blog posts. So what we do next is move our blog cards over to our drafts in progress, and then we'll use Write with AI to generate the title, the copy, the meta and sharing descriptions for the post, and the link path, etc. So all of this is stuff that you can do with this prompt here. Let me just show you a quick overview of visually what that would look like for you. So of course we would have scheduled and published all of our events at this point. We can now move our blogs for that month over into this column because this is what we're actively working on. And then we're just going to be going in following the prompt that I've provided for you in the checklist document. And you're going to be utilizing the content on each of these cards to actually go in and get this completed. So let's walk through this really quickly, and I'll show you what this looks like to create this in Get Oiling. So here, let me copy this, and then we can get right over here to our blog posts. Write post. All right, so I'm going to use AI right here, and I'm going to paste my prompt in. And it may be helpful to use like a word processor to paste this into so that you can modify your prompt a little bit more before you use it. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I need to know the blog post title. I'm going to copy that. I'll paste that here. The working outline is as follows, and I'm going to include what was already provided to me. That's on my Trello card. Oh, oops. There we go. And what else? I need to, here we go. So this is going to be, I'm going to close the post with a call to action to opt in for my weekly wellness tips sent out every Tuesday morning. Here is the URL, and we'll just pretend that that's actually it. So I'm going to click write. And that's going to give me everything that I need, which is super exciting. And then that'll go straight into the post, and anything that doesn't belong in the post, like the title and the URL slug and the meta and sharing description, we'll just take those out of the post and put them where they belong. And remember, we're doing this well in advance. So if you ever need to stop what you're doing, and I'm going to let this do its thing because it takes a little bit to think up a 1,000-word blog post. It's actually done. It was fast. But think about it like this. When you're in the middle of doing something, especially a large project like this, if you get pulled away, which most of us do, if you have kids, if you have a dog, if you have a life, you're going to get pulled away from what you're doing. If you're organizing everything into here and you're following the checklist and you know, okay, I'm working on blog posts right now, right? You can save drafts at any point, right? We're scheduling these for often months or at least weeks in advance. So you have time to set this down or to slow down in what this process looks like for you, just so you know. All right, so here is everything that it gave me, and I'm going to just go ahead and add that to the editor. And I'm just going to go and grab all of this stuff that it gave me and make sure that it goes where it belongs. So there's my title. And then here's my meta sharing description. I'm going to copy that, and I'll show you in just a moment where that is going to go. I'm just going to delete these extra spaces and go down here. And I'm going to put that in the excerpt space, and I'm going to put it in the search engine meta description space because they're optimized for both. And why not make your life easier? All right, we'll come back up here. And to the top, we've got our suggested link path. This would be optimized for search engine optimization. And I'm just going to delete the rest of this here. Here, I'll come down here and I will put that. You see where that goes? I'll schedule this to publish later. Remember, this is going to go out. This went on August 6th at 9 a.m. And again, if I have to stop what I'm doing, I can just go save draft, right? And then here I would go through and do some modifications, right? So we don't need all these pound signs, for instance, but we do need a heading 2 paragraph setting, right? So would need to go through and make those modifications here. And of course, make sure that what we're sharing is what we want to share, sounds the way that we want to, etc. I'm going through the motions so that you see what this looks like. You will, of course, not necessarily have the perfect exact post that you want to use the first time you prompt. So just know that that's the case, but get this done to the extent that you want. You can save the draft. I'm just going to go ahead and schedule this post. And I'm going to click view. Nothing's going to show up because it's scheduled. See, but I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go back over to my Trello board because I am done with that post. Let me go ahead and just make sure that this link is right here. We'll go save. Let me check that off. It's complete. I'll move that over to schedule and published, and we go on from there. Now, this is the link that I'm going to be sharing in my emails. Emails are the next step. If we go and you look at the checklist here, we schedule a weekly email, right, that goes out every single week. And what we're going to do again is prompt Write with AI, and we're going to pop that right here, right? We're going to take this and put our blog post link in here, the day of the week, the title of the blog post, and we're just going to go and schedule our emails. This is really simple. You're going to follow this process, right? So we're going to go over to Get Oiling. We're going to go to our dashboard. We're going to send an email. We're going to send just one message, and we're going to filter for our newsletter, or whatever the tag is that you're using for your people who are subscribed to you. Maybe this is your weekly wellness tips people, and you're using this as a way to share weekly wellness tips in your blog posts, right? So I'm going to go write email. And then here again, I can use Write with AI right here and copy straight into the email. So using the prompt that is shown here, right? Replace these parts of the prompt with the information that's relevant, including the link to that blog post that we just created. Repeat this 4 times for each one of your blog posts. And then you go through and you create your social posts. Of course, as you're collecting that information, you're putting it right over here into this social media posts list on your Trello. And as you are deciding to begin working on them, you move them over here to your content ideas and you go on from there, right? So let me see if we've got some questions here. I know this is a lot, but it is really a fantastic opportunity for you to sit down and decide to get the whole season done. And this is doable in an afternoon. And I say this because I've done it and I do it every year. So, yeah, Sarah, great question. Can you explain the transition from this process to talking with your prospects about Young Living? Let me take you back to the this sort of diagram that I've created for you guys, and I'll make sure that this is actually embedded on our blog post when you guys get the replay later today. So this right here, the consult. This is where you talk about Young Living, right? And you may talk about Young Living at your event as well, right? So all of these things point toward DMs, right? Where somebody hits reply. See, this is the thing, right? You want to make sure that you are actively engaging with people who are actively engaging with you. And so if we aren't creating opportunities for people to actively engage with us in a direction that could lead to sharing Young Living, then we're not going to have opportunities, right? So these create opportunities and they position you as somebody that they want to have these conversations with. So what the transition looks like is you write a blog post, and at the end of that blog post, they sign up for your weekly wellness tips. Now they're on your list. They may not know you and they may not be ready to reach out to you yet because they don't trust you enough. But your emails that you send out every Tuesday, if you're using the ones that we write for you, every one of those emails is designed to get them to hit reply and say something to you. And so all of these are creating opportunities for people to just show up and indicate to you that they're ready. But we obviously don't want to just wait around for someone to show up and say that they're ready, but you will see indicators, right? So when someone maybe likes or comments on a post that you make that talks about a blog post topic, well, you're talking about oil adjacent topics that are interesting to the people that you're connected with. And you'll see that interest happening. And it's just going to give you another route to begin talking with somebody that leads to talking about Young Living without making Young Living the first thing that you talk about, right? And here's the other thing that's really critical about this. And I understand this is a good amount of work. this is work, but this is the work that your business needs for the long run for you to be able to stand apart. Anybody who is a Young Living brand partner can show up on social media and do anything that they would normally have done before on social media. And that's what most of us do. And maybe we sprinkle in some pictures of products or, mentions of products, and we talk about products, and people aren't doing anything with that. People aren't paying attention to that. Maybe some people are because they like you and they trust you. But if not enough people like and trust you, eventually that's going to fall flat. So thank you, Shelly. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm glad that makes sense. If you guys have more clarifying questions, feel free to ask. Allison says, we'll be doing stuff like this in Half Day Momentum content planning. Allison, yes, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Momentum is all about doing everything that you need to do to show up every day. And here's the thing, I don't want you sitting down every day. You do need to post every day on social media. I don't want you sitting down every day going, oh God, what am I going to post about? Let me scroll through and get some ideas. And then you do that every day, because then you spend 10 times more just coming up with what to say that day than you would if you had just sat down and said, what's my theme? Okay, what are the main things I'm going to talk about? What am I promoting toward, right? What are my events? What are my blog posts that I'm going to be producing? I need reasons to show up and talk about things in front of people that they might be interested in. And they need to be things that are relevant to them and not to me. Because if we could just get away with talking about what's important to us, we would be promoting our faces off 24/7, and we would lose all of our friends, right? People would stop paying attention because that's not what they want to hear. But if we start showing up strategically, just put a little bit more thought into this, plan it ahead, this can be something that just happens in the background. Now, I produce about 4 times more of the written type of content. And obviously my content system for the stuff that we do is a bit different from this guy right here. But I get this done with 2 blog posts a week, 2-hour-long trainings and videos, and about 4 or 5, 6 different types of emails that go out in different content and form. And I often have all of that stuff planned out months and months in advance. And really all it takes is for me to be able to sit down over the course of, I don't know, an afternoon, a day, and use the right prompts with AI to be able to give myself a starting point, right? And here's the thing too, and I think this is really important for us to understand. AI, while you saw me just paste and publish, is not the end all, right? It's not going to do all of the work for you. It is important that you get in the habit of engaging with this such that you become better at expressing your expectations and intentions, because that's going to give you the better outcome. It's called prompt engineering, but I don't want to bore you with those details. You don't need to know how the technical stuff works for you to be able to get really great results. And the way that you start with that is by using prompts that work. And so I've designed prompts for you that will work for this purpose. And so use those, fill in the blanks with the things that are true for you and repeat this process. See if you can sit down and in a couple of hours, you could get an entire month's worth of content mapped out. And yeah, sure, you might want to spend a little bit more time zhuzhing up what's in the blog post or making the email sound more like you. These are all perfectly good things. But the important thing is that you have these things done. Because if you're doing these things and you're doing these things consistently, you will never run out of people who are interested in what you have to say next. Right? You will not have a problem with whether or not people show up to the things that you invite them to. And you will certainly have an easy time getting people to say yes to fully opting in and getting, all of their maxed out loyalty rewards with their orders, right? You're going to be able to build a better business this way. All right, so if I'm reading that graphic correctly, I'm posting potentially 3 different types of posts with this content. The document that I've been going through today, Allison actually outlines, it suggests specific types of posts. I want to say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 posts: event, lead magnet, engagement, and blog post promotion. So that's 4. Let me see. Yeah, so and this is just a starting point, right? I just want to make sure that you are showing up daily, right? And it is more important on social media for you to engage than it is for you to promote, but it is good for people to be sent from social media over to your website where they can see that you're someone who's not just like everybody else that's on social media with an opinion, right? You're somebody who has the you're somebody who has the cojones to publish, right? You're somebody who is willing to say, I put my name on this, here it is, right? People will inherently trust you more if you are brave enough to do that. So be the person who's brave enough to do that, and you'll have people who show up when you say it's time to, right? Sarah says, do you have a post on doing events based off of these prompts? If you mean like creating the events, like aside from what we just walked through, or do you mean, Sarah, to like actually create the content for the event? Because you can absolutely do that as well. I don't know that we've done an events training that's AI focused, like in a dedicated way, since we released our Write with AI. So do let me know. And then Mandy, I've got a longer question here, so I want to make sure I get this answered for you. You had Get Oiling for about a year, didn't really dig in, totally fine. You purchased website design, hadn't nailed down how you wanted to present yourself until recently. Awesome. Okay. Getting clarity on direction, ready to start fresh, need to go back through the training, begin again. Where would you suggest I start? Thinking the best choice would be to have you guys go ahead and set it up while I'm in training. Yes. So I would say, Mandy, if you bought Brand Launch Essentials, go ahead and sit down with Pam or Jessica that you would be working with. Go ahead and just get that done. Because the pages that they're going to create for you, they're going to give you this beautiful starting point. And there's only 5 pages that they're going to be able to make for you anyway. There's only so much modification they're going to do. So go ahead and just get that done so that you can feel really happy and proud of having a thing completed. And then based on your goals. Yes, that's right. And you probably should have received an email already about that. And if you haven't yet, please reach out, support@getoiling.com. If you haven't seen anything yet, or if you haven't found it, regardless, just support@getoiling.com. Let them know you signed up for Brand Launch Essentials and that you're ready to get started, and they'll help you with that. But yeah, go ahead and get that out of the way. And I think that when you get to chatting with whoever is going to be providing that for you, and they're all amazingly qualified, like really great designers and strategists, they'll also be able to give you some insights, right? Tell them what your goal is. And after they've been able to sit down with you and work through this with you, they'll be able to point you in a really great direction for sure. And feel free at any point, sign up for the live work review that we do. If you want to chat with me about where things are at in your business and you want my perspective on that, take advantage of this. And I hope that you're in Momentum, because we're going to have a lot of one-on-one time in Momentum for the folks who signed up for that as well. I just got through mapping out the majority of the schedule for that, guys. There's so many calls, there's so much opportunity to dig in together, and I'm just so excited to get to work with you. So yeah, who is going to go and get ahead of their fall, right? Is fall not the busiest season going into the holidays? Is that not just so hectic and where we start dropping the ball, right? I hope that you spend some time here, dedicate an afternoon or two to start working on this so that you can have all of this set up, ready to go, where you don't have to worry about it, and you can just show up, be present, and be confident moving forward. All right, appreciate you guys and your time. We'll be back here same time next week. Hope you guys have a great week. Take care.